morning. Let's start. I thank you very much for coming to Bosnia. We have groups from Slovakia and Czech or no? Slovakia. Italy, Belgium, and we have volunteers from Germany, UK, Holland, Texas. Now, is that the independent state of Texas, or is it still part of the U.S.?
Today, I think it's part of the U.S.
We are the only one who has the right to claim independence, according to the Constitution. Only Texas. So we will be translating in a couple of languages, so be patient with me. 20 years ago, we started the Bosnian Pyramid project. And for more than 40 years, I've been researching pyramids. And even though the monumental pyramids in Egypt or Mexico were so impressive, for the archaeologists and historians, they belong to the history. Because they claim they were tombs for the pharaohs. The Chinese archaeologists, with their pyramids, continued that tradition, calling them emperors' tombs. However, in the last couple of decades, there's been a lot of new development in the pyramid world. The pyramid research does not belong to the archaeologists only anymore. Many independent researchers, geophysicists, people who can access the site without even going there through the satellite technology, have brought a lot of new information. And I would say that the Bosnian Pyramid Project is pioneering that new approach. The pyramid research has to be interdisciplinary scientific research. And as you will see today, pyramids have almost nothing to do with the archaeology or history, but with the energy. Not abstract form of the energy, but measurable phenomena. So, back in 2005, after I've seen most of the pyramids around the planet, I came to the town of Visoko to visit the local museum. And what really caught my attention was elevation that everybody called natural hill, because it is covered by soil, vegetation, and forest. But I was looking at the geometry. And most of you went to our location called Belvedere. Belvedere, nice view. From where it's rather obvious that we have four-sided geometry. So, back in 2005, I asked for the permission from the government to do some preliminary research. And everything we've done, there were anomalies. Meaning, it was not made by the geological natural process. So I wrote my first book about the discovery, and had a big press conference in Sarajevo on October 25, 2005, where I announced the news that the first European pyramids have been discovered. It drew a lot of attention, and I have received more than 12,000 emails of support from all over the world. However, representatives of the cultural establishment, first in Bosnia and then elsewhere, started attacking me, claiming it's ridiculous, there are no pyramids in Bosnia. I went to the Department of Archaeology at the University of Sarajevo and offered them collaboration. They refused. They said, we know every square meter of Bosnia, we have no pyramids. In reality, we do not know 90% what is under the forests and the ground. I went to the National Museum. They told me we never had pharaohs in Bosnia, therefore we cannot have pyramids. So I realized that I'm talking to the people who belong to the 19th century with the way they think. They were not aware that there are pyramids in China, 250 of them. All of them covered by soil. Pyramids in Indonesia, in the jungle. Pyramids in Cambodia, completely covered by vegetation. Peru, 300 pyramids. Bolivia. In Egypt, there are no 118 as non-scientific Wikipedia claims, but 155. That's how many I investigated. 224 pyramids in Sudan, Nubian pyramids. 104 pyramids on Canary Islands. 7 pyramids in Mauritius. More than 100,000 pyramids in the Mayan world. In the countries of Mexico, Guatemala, Honduras, El Salvador, and Belize. United States is filled with the pyramid structures. They call them mounds because they are covered by soil and the grass. In reality, they are structures. Just in one spot, Cahokia National Park in the state of Illinois, 120 pyramids. In Spain, 3 Palencia pyramids. In Italy, 43 pyramids on the island of Sicily, 1 on Sardinia, 16 in ancient Greek territory before ancient Greek civilization. In other words, the world of the past was the world of pyramids. This is what archaeologists and historians do not know. However, mostly through my research, people are becoming aware of that. And second thing is that we have been programmed to think that pyramids are tombs for the pharaohs. So they claim that the most magnificent pyramid in the world, the Great Pyramid of Egypt, was the place where the pharaoh Cheops or Khufu was buried, without a single proof. Then they are saying, next to him, the pharaoh Khafre or Khephren. Again, no mummy. Mykerinos, no mummy. Djoser, no mummy. Sneferu, no mummy. As a matter of fact, out of 155 pyramids in Egypt, Not a single mummy in the pyramids. So where the pharaohs were buried? Valley of Kings, 600 kilometers to the south, near Luxor and Karnak. Thebes, capital of ancient Egypt. Memphis, capital of ancient Egypt. Abydos, Tandera, these are all capitals of ancient Egypt. But they are far away from the pyramid sites. In 21st century, we need to use the real science, not the bedtime stories, to explain the purpose of pyramids. And we have done more here in Bosnia in 20 years than Egyptology in 200 years. So back the end of 2005, I established non-profit foundation under the name Archaeological Park Bosnian Pyramid of the Sun Foundation, which is your host today. That was for the first time that non-profit, non-government organization started running huge archaeological project. Usually, archaeology is 10-15 diggers, one main archaeologist, 15 days per year. That's it. They write, they publish something in 5 or 10 years. We have changed that. You go to Egypt, you try to see something, they're telling you, no, this is confidential. You can't go there. You can't see this. Why is it confidential? Egyptian pyramids do not belong to the Egyptian Supreme Council of Antiquity or British government. Chinese pyramids do not belong only to China, or Mexican to Mexico, or Peruvian to Peru. They are the cultural heritage of all of us. We have the right to know whatever they know. So we have changed that also. No secrets. Everything we do, anyone can come and access it. This project has become the most active archaeological site in the world. For the last 20 years, we have had more than 4,000 volunteers coming from 64 countries and 6 continents. And we work 12 months a year. Besides classical sciences like archaeology, geology, Egyptology, paleontology, biology, we use high-tech methods. Georadar, satellite, geothermal analysis. We've been using 3 forms of dating: radiocarbon dating, luminescence analysis, and uranium-thorium analysis. And we've been inviting experts in energy phenomena. Engineers, electrical engineers, sound engineers, telecommunication engineers, physicists. So, we've been having quantum physicists, nuclear physicists. Why engineers and physicists? Because they have instruments. They measure. And if you can measure, you can scientifically prove. We've been having here medical doctors to measure effects of the pyramid energy. And also spiritual scientists, people who can feel different sensations. This is what we have concluded. Number 1, archaeologically. We have a complex of at least 6 pyramids, which we named the Bosnian Pyramids of the Sun, Moon, Dragon, Earth, Love, and the 6th pyramid. We have 2 tumuli. In archaeology, tumulus is the conical artificial hill. Some of you, I believed, already visited tumulus in Vratnica. We have another one, tumulus in Ginje. And next, we have a network of subterranean underground tunnel network. So far, we have discovered entrances to 7 underground tunnels, which we named Ravne, Ravne 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and KTK. So far, we have cleared 3.6 kilometers of existing prehistorical tunnels. We secure them, and people can access them. I suspect that originally this was a network of 100 kilometers on at least 7 levels. So far, we've discovered entrances to 3 different levels. So, archaeologically speaking, this is huge. We operate in area of 40 square kilometers without the government money. So, there is still more to discover when it comes to the archaeological work. But the results that we produce using the measurement devices, like LiDAR technology and geodesic equipment, are the following. The Bosnian Pyramid of the Sun, with the height of 368 meters, is by far the tallest on the planet. The Great Pyramid of Egypt, 146.5. So Bosnian is 2.5 times taller. Egyptian pyramid has 6.5 million tons of material. That was enormous task. Bosnian Pyramid of the Sun, 115 million tons of material. The next element for the pyramids, the orientation of the sides. Traveling the world, I realized that all Chinese pyramids are oriented towards the north, cosmic north or true north. Pyramids in Indonesia, north. Cambodia, north. Egypt, north. Peru, US. The Great Pyramid of Egypt has an error from perfect north of 0 degrees and 3 minutes. This is a remarkable feat. Imagine, you have the structure which is 231 meters at the length, and the error is only 0 degrees and 3 minutes. That's a fraction of 1 degree. That's genius. Similar things with other Egyptian pyramids. But according to the State Institute for Geodesy here in Bosnia, the error from the perfect north using the scientific instruments called total stations is 0 degrees, 0 minutes, and only 12 seconds. 12 seconds. Now, Bosnian pyramids has the length of 1 kilometer. 0, 0, 12. This is something that we cannot achieve today. If you are building a structure, you do it manually, you're going to always be a little bit off. Here, remarkable. Of course, Egyptologists know about the orientation of Egyptian pyramids, but they don't know why. If you talk to them, they will tell you, religious reasons or ceremonial. When you hear religious and ceremonial, then you know that they have no clue about the purpose. They guess. Independent researchers like Robert Schoch, Graham Hancock, late John Anthony West, and the others, they know about that. They mention it very often, but they don't know why. We are the only one in the world who know why. And the reason why, you have to have an engineering mind to realize that. 125 years ago, Nikola Tesla said, everything is energy. Everything is vibrations. Our planet is a huge energy ball that vibrates. And two major energy flows are north-south and east-west. When you build four-sided pyramid and you orient it perfectly, it initiates the movement of the energy inside the pyramid. And that energy flow hits 1/3 of the height, goes to 2/3, coming back to 1/3, and completing the circle at the bottom. So imagine triangle and circle inside it. And guess what? Those three chambers in the Great Pyramid of Egypt are all located at this energy flow. They have so-called king's chamber, queen's chamber, and unfinished chamber. So, if you are in there, you are exposed to the pyramid energy. The same thing here in Bosnia. So, when we started excavation, 1 meter below the soil, we discovered blocks. Some of them rectangular, with 6 sides, 6 times 90 degrees. Obviously not made by Mother Nature, but by intelligent hands. We have opened total of 20 sections on the Sun Pyramid, which we call archaeological trenches or sondas. And on 3 sides, we are discovering those blocks, except for the south. The south is the only one which is not flat, but rounded. Why? Because the concrete on the blocks are missing. It seems that a huge earthquake from medieval times caused those blocks to collapse. So we took samples from those blocks, sent them to 7 institutes for materials. Politecnico di Torino in Turin, Italy, Geopolymer Institute in France, Czech Republic, Slovakia, Bosnia. They all told us it was an artificially made concrete. Some people call it a geopolymer concrete, some people call it synthetic concrete. But the point is, it's artificially made. They used material from the tunnels. When they were digging, they removed a lot of pebbles, rocks, and sand. What they do with that? They made concrete blocks. All they were needed was binding materials. Today we use cement, and they used melted clay. When clay got dried, they got concrete of the best quality. And you can measure the quality of the concrete through the 2 parameters. The first one is hardness. Harder the concrete is more durable, better quality. Our concretes today, in 21st century, from 10 to 60 megapascals. After we have analyzed 100 samples from the Sun Pyramid, the hardness is from 74 to 155. 155 we cannot make today with our technology. The second element of concrete quality is called water absorption. If water can get inside the concrete during the winter time, it freezes. And the ice has a tendency to expand, and concrete breaks. Therefore, we try to keep water absorption very low. Our norms in 21st century, up to 3%. The Bosnian Pyramid, only 1%. Superior. So we have the best quality concrete on the planet. The next element, date. You would say that Great Pyramid of Egypt should have hundreds of dating results. They have only 4. Since radiocarbon dating was established 70 years ago, they've done only 4. And all 4 were older than the 4th dynasty, and then they stopped for the political reasons. In the case of Bosnian pyramids, we have done 28 radiocarbon dating, uranium thorium analysis. Maybe the most important is the one when we discovered fossilized leaves between concrete blocks. How they get there? The builders were pouring the first row of blocks, the second, the third. The wind was blowing, bringing the leaves, and the builders placed the final row of blocks. But those leaves, they are organic material. The age, 29,200 years, plus minus 400 years. It's called radiocarbon dating. In order to get calibrated date, or calendar age, we add approximately 14%. So the real age of the Bosnian Pyramid of the Sun is 33,800 years, which makes it the oldest pyramid ever. Now, it's not just that one dating. We've done also pedological analysis. Pedology is the science that investigates the origin of soil. The soil that covers the Sun Pyramid is about 15,000 years old, just above the concrete blocks. The first organic material that we discovered on the Sun Pyramid was on the top of the blocks. It gave us minimum age, 24,800. So those leaves below, it's a logical consequence, 33,800 years. So now look at these elements. First pyramids in Europe, the biggest on the planet, most precise orientation on the planet, the best quality concrete on the planet, the oldest pyramids on the planet. Everything we touch changes the human history forever. And the beauty of what we do, everything is measurable. It is not the guessing work. All these elements, of course, they were just too much for the cultural establishment. From day one, I claimed, back in 2005, that they are biggest and the oldest, even though I did not have proper information. That was hypothesis. Now it's been confirmed. So what do? How the cultural establishment reacts? They attack very aggressively. From Little Bosnia, neighboring countries, Western European countries, America, Egypt. They all attack. But in science, their opinions do not count. Opinions are irrelevant. It's only about the scientific data. And they are on our side. So, archaeologically speaking, huge discovery. But very early we realized archaeology is not enough to give us answers. 5 questions in archaeology. What? What is this? We have pyramid complex, above, below the ground. Second one, who? So far we don't have precise answer, but we know it was very advanced civilization. Because they could maneuver with millions of tons of material. Number 3, when? Well, we go back for 30,000 years. Number 4, how? We are learning about the engineering of the ancients. Concrete blocks, better quality. We realized when we did the analysis that besides material from the tunnels and the clay, they were adding the granite dust powder to make it stronger. In Mexico, they were adding the seashells. They would ground the seashells because of calcium carbonate. In Egypt, they were adding the eggshells, calcium carbonate. So the ancients were smart. So, the next aspect, energy. We started bringing engineers and physicists from 2010, looking for the answer, why? What is the true purpose of pyramids? For example, we had 5 different international teams from Germany, Croatia, Serbia, Italy, and Finland, who came at 5 different times. climbing the top of the pyramid, using their scientific instruments, oscilloscope, EM meters, and so on, to measure different energy phenomena. Electromagnetism, electrical field only, ultrasound, magnetic field only, infrasound, orgone energy, temperature. And this is what we concluded. From the top, we have an energy beam, which is 4.5 meters in diameter, which is 28 kilohertz frequency in electrical and in ultrasound frequencies. And then when we send the drone, we realize that this beam expands to 20 meters, coming back to 4.5, 20, 4.5, 20. And then we measure the strength of the signal at different heights. At the ground, 1.9 volts. 3 meters higher, 3.8 volts. 3 meters higher, 5.7 volts. So the frequency was the same, but the strength was stronger and stronger and stronger. In science, this phenomenon is called non-Hertzian waves, or scalar waves, or shortly, Tesla's energies. And sure enough, the genius Nikola Tesla, the end of the 19th, beginning of the 20th century, was experimenting with the subtle energies. And he realized that scalar waves move quicker than the speed of light. In the last 50 years, the Russian physicists confirmed that. So theoretically speaking, the scalar waves are ideal to transport the energy and information. So, the first potential purpose of pyramid energy, communication device. So, who this pyramid is communicating with? We were checking the direction of this energy beam. In the morning it is moved to the east. And this is where our sun rises, in the east. Noontime, 12 o'clock, like now, south. And that's exactly the location of the sun at the noontime. Afternoon, southwest, evening, west. What does that mean? Does it mean that our planet is communicating with the sun? It is possible. And maybe using the sun as the cosmic gate for the communication with other solar systems. Technically, that's possible too. And even with other galaxies. But then, pyramids are not only transmitters. They are also antennas. They receive the energy. So energy goes both ways. So if we are to speculate, if our planet is point A, where is point B? And where is point C? Are we talking about the cosmic internet? It's possible. The first potential purpose of pyramids is the communication on very, very long distances. The second one, you have all visited the tunnels. Bravo! Ciao! You enter the tunnels, you can breathe good. You enter the coal mines, after 20, 30 meters, you don't have oxygen. You have problem breathing. In our case, deeper you go to the tunnels, you breathe better and better. Not very logical. But nothing in Bosnia is logical. People with the respiratory problems, asthma, bronchitis, they stay for a few days and they don't need air pump, inhaler no more. People with a high blood pressure After one visit, it gets normalized. People with a high glucose in the blood drops 5-6 points after one visit. People with the pains, very often, pains are gone. People with very serious diseases, tumors, and so on, they show remarkable recovery of the health. Now, we always claim that our foundation is not providing healing treatments. We don't give medical guarantees. But we measure. We wanted to explain why is this happening. And we have measured 10 different energy properties. The first 5 is the absence of all harmful radiations. Right now, we are on the surface of the planet. It's a beautiful, sunny day, blue sky, but a lot of cosmic radiations are coming our way. If we agree that our planet is a sphere, not a flat. Some of those radiations are harmful. Our body cells fight the enemies. We go to the tunnels, 20 meters below the ground, no bad radiations. Sometimes we walk the streets and we are not even aware that the underground natural radioactivity is coming to the surface. Again, attacking our body. Our body cells now have more enemies from above and then from below. As a matter of fact, 24 hours a day, our body cells try to keep our integrity. We go to the tunnels using Geiger-Miller counters. The values are so minimum that we can say there are no radioactivity in the tunnels. Number 3, geopathogenic radiations, such as underground water flow and bad energy. Hartmann intersections, harmful energy. Caris intersections, Schneider's intersections. We don't teach about those things in the schools, but that does not mean that they don't exist. Of course they do. If you have those intersections or underground water below your bed, you won't sleep well. You're going to be, waking up all night. In the morning, you are not rested. Bad radiations. In the tunnels, all these radiations have been neutralized. And those big blocks have a major role in it. K1, K2, K3, K5, and so on. Neutralized. The next one, signal for the mobile phones. We can't live without them, but if we talk on the phone for 15 minutes, our hand becomes hot, our ears red, and bad electromagnetism kill 150,000 brain cells during one talk. Of course, we can argue that we have 5 billion brain cells, but 150,000 millions 8 o'clock in the morning, 100,000 10 o'clock, today 1 million, tomorrow another million, million after million, and then very soon we noticed that we are not becoming any more intelligent. On the contrary, we process the information slower. In the tunnels, no signal for the mobile phones. Number 5, no signal for the Wi-Fi. So for the first time in our life, the tunnels will allow our body cells to start doing their jobs. And their job is to fix the problems in our body, to start the regeneration process. Somebody has high blood pressure, sugar, tumor, mental problems, problems with one of our 7 energy fields, regeneration process. So our conclusion, the second purpose of pyramid energy, to protect what is the most precious to us, and that would be our health. Plus, in the tunnels, we measure 5 more energy properties. The best frequency of electromagnetic field, 28 kilohertz. The best frequency of the ultrasound, the same frequency. This is the frequency of the levitation. Number 8, extremely low frequency, this is how it's called, ELF, of 7.83 Hertz, or original Schumann resonance, brings us back to the balance. We go to the big cities. Sarajevo is 12 Hertz, Munich 15, New York 18 Hertz. What happened? When we are born at 7.83. When we think, if somebody's still doing that, we think at 7.83 Hertz. That's our brain waves. Our planet, same frequency, we are in balance. We go to New York, 18 Hertz, it's disbalance, which creates the stress, which has become the leading cause of all diseases. Number 9, high level of orgone energy. We call it also life energy. Reich call it orgone. In Eastern traditions, prana or chi. People thought you could not measure. They knew that some energy exists, but William Reich fortunately made a machine, and we have today a similar machine, which is called experimental life energy meter, which can measure on the scale from 0 to 100 life energy. Cities, 20%. Villages, 50%. Tunnels and the Bosnian Pyramids, 100%. And number 10 is the very high concentration of negative ions. Our guides have already explained you how beneficial they are. The students of physiology at the Faculty of Medicine in some of the Western countries in the US learn about 42 benefits of negative ions. Anywhere from reducing the sugar and blood pressure, removing viruses, bacteria, fungi from our body, to some other. And we have been witnessing all these benefits. So when you put those 10 elements together, absence of all harmful radiations, presence of the best radiations, we have Rane tunnels as the safest and the healthiest place on the planet. So, second purpose of pyramids, to protect health. Number 3, we have discovered 5 tunnels with the water. We have analyzed this water very thoroughly and compared it with our city water. The medical authorities in our countries claim that our city water is healthy because it does not have viruses, bacteria, or microbes. Well, that's true, but there are no microbes because it's been treated with the chlorine. And the chlorine is a poison. All our life, we drink poison. We take shower with the poison. Goes to our body through our skin. We cook on the poison. Some countries, they add fluoride. They add it in the toothpaste. They add it to water. United Kingdom, Republic of Ireland, Australia, New Zealand, Canada, 2/3 of the US, Argentina, Chile, France, and so on. They say fluoride is very good for your teeth. In reality, the fluoride causes the tooth disease. But this is the least problem. The fluoride in our body attacks our brain cells, our nerve system, and it closes the pineal gland, very small gland, which is our window to spirituality. Epiphysa, pineal gland. They want to keep us in the material world. And I'll come back to that later. In our city water, there are traces of heavy metals, because water goes through metal pipes, melting the metal. This is what we drink. In our city water, which comes to our kitchens through plastic pipes, it melts plastic. And this is what we drink, microplastic. And guess what? Microplastic has become the leading cause of the cancer in the last 2 decades. During the abductions, they found plastic in human heart and human brain, like never before. This is our water. and they are telling us it's healthy? Of course it's not. It causes many diseases. So pharmaceutical mafia can have a good time. The water from the tunnels, not treated, no heavy metals, no plastic. It has some very good minerals like magnesium, calcium, kalium, and so on. Perfect pH. pH 0 to 14. 7 is neutral. Below 7, acid. Kiselo. Not good. Our city water 6.5 to 7. Coca-Cola, Pepsi, Schweppes 2.7. Ideal for cancer cells. Above 7 is good for us. Good environment for us. Our blood is not 7. Our blood is 7.35 to 7.45. Water from the tunnels, 7.45. Ideal. And with our guides, you are able to see, once we sent samples to late Dr. Masaru Emoto in Japan, that our water generates beautiful hexagonal molecular structure with the most wonderful crystal-like structure. Molecular structure, we can see what we drink. City water, deformed. Pyramid water vibrates high. And we are what we drink. Of course, we are what we eat. That will be the next function of the pyramid energy. So, number 3, pyramid energy improves the molecular structure of the water, which is the essential, the most important liquid in our life. You see how it becomes logical. Why would somebody build Great Pyramid of Egypt for one dead body? Instead, pyramids, communication, health, water, let's move on, food. We did experiment with the seeds of beans. Bag with seeds, one we put at home, control group. One bag we put in the tunnels. One bag on the top of the Sun Pyramid. And after 15 days, we were checking the germinization process. How many seeds will start growing? Control group, 60%. Pyramid, tunnel, 100%. So pyramid energy affects DNA. We planted the seeds, the pyramid seeds are growing 3 times quicker, richer, healthier. Food. Number 5. From 2020 to 2022, we had a worldwide project called COVID-19 or Corona Project. That was biological weapons directed against us, normal humans. And authorities, through their propaganda, which they called media, were trying to convince us that the solution is a vaccine, which is experimental, pharmaceutical, genetical product. However, being vaccinated or not vaccinated, everybody was getting sick. And then the question is, not the vaccine, but immunity. Immunity. Your immune system stronger? Doesn't matter the age. What we drink, what we eat, what we think, where we go and spend our time. Immunity. Stronger the immunity, better results. We protect our body. Visiting the tunnels, your immunity goes up. That was number 5. The next one, behind me, you can see next topic called spirituality. When I was younger, they were teaching me in school spirituality. This is a religion. Well, religion is one thing. They have their hierarchy, organization. I respect that. Faith is another thing. But spirituality, for me, is something else. I like to define the terms. For me, spirituality is a development of spiritual senses. So we can sense the world beyond the physical reality. What does that mean, beyond the physical reality? The physical reality we perceive through our 5 physical senses. We can see, we can hear, we can taste, we can smell, we can touch. But our picture of the world is very, very, very limited. What we can hear is called sound. We hear from 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz. As we are getting older, we hear less and less. If you are married for 20, 30 years, you don't hear your wives at all. And they don't hear us. Everything above 20 kilohertz is called ultrasound. We don't hear it, but we can measure it. Animals can hear some frequencies of ultrasound, some. But they cannot hear 80 kilohertz. They cannot hear megahertz or gigahertz. They cannot hear very, very deep sounds. They are called infrasounds. We cannot hear 12 hertz or 8 hertz or 2, we cannot. So what we hear is 0.7% of all sounds around us. So we are actually deaf because we don't hear 99%. What we can see 7 colors. They start from this one right here, red. That's the lowest frequency color. Our first chakra is red. Orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet. This is what we can see. This is less than 1% of all color frequencies in the universe. So we don't see 99%. Same goes for all other senses. For example, what we smell. Most people are happy with what they can smell. Dogs. That is my dog. He was somewhere here. Dogs can smell not 20% more, not 100% more. They can smell 5,000 times more than us humans. 5,000 times. So no wonder, when you have male dog and he can smell female dog ready to do business 5 kilometers away. 5 kilometers away. So the point is, our physical senses give us very limited view of the reality, which we call the material world. But we have 30 spiritual senses, with which we could sense much more, with which we go to the area calling spirituality or spiritual world. So in this new pavilion, we're going to have it complete in 1 month. It says, spirituality, a journey toward discovering our purpose, one in the spiritual world, of course we're going to know much more, and connection beyond the material world. The first 5 spiritual senses are the counterparts to our physical senses. We can all see or hear more. The next spiritual sense is feeling the energy. When our guides in the tunnels tell you around K2, open your hand. You open your hand. Can you feel something? Some people can feel some sensations. Oh, I can feel something tingling in my fingers. I can feel warm. I can feel cold. I can feel wind. I can feel something going through my hand. So this is the beginning of the next sense, which is called feeling the energy. Majority of you know that people who are sensitive, who deal with the bioenergy, when they have their healing treatment, they do something like this around your body. They manipulate with our first energy field called auric field. So they feel the energy. The next spiritual sense is seeing the energy. Now, for that, you need practice. 3 months, 6 months. Everything has its own auric field. We have it. Trees have it, and so on. So we can see different colors. We can see reddish color, we can see greenish or orange, and so on. Which is very important. Imagine that we can see colors of auric field of the people that we meet. If I see a lot of red color, I know there is a problem. Red color, the lowest frequency. People being aggressive, anxious, jealous, something which does not sound right. Dogs can see colors. People who are afraid of dogs, they create red color. Dogs recognize that. And they don't know why is it red. Is it fear? Or if they have some bad intentions against them, if they are violent, that's why they start barking, seeing the colors. Green, blue, health, sharing, love. You see a person with a lot of green and blue. Wow, this is a good person. I'd like to spend time with this person. White, wisdom, balance. Imagine that we can see colors. Right now we live in the world where we rely on words. People tell us things. You know, I'm the smartest guy in the world, I'm the most beautiful, and I'm the modest guy in the world. People tell us things, so we believe or we don't believe. But if we can see colors, they cannot fool us. We know exactly what kind of person we have in front of us. Spiritual sense. We can also exchange thoughts. It is called telepathy. That's spiritual sense. We don't develop it, but we have ability. Long time ago, when we think how those pyramids were built, for example in Egypt. If you want to build a huge structure, you have to have a huge set of drawings. If you want to build this pavilion, you need to have 5 or 10 drawings. House, you need to have drawings for concrete, for walls, for electricity, for plumbing, for source system, for roof. If you want to build pyramid, you need to have a huge storage filled with drawings. But those drawings are missing. How did they design it? How did they communicate? When we try to understand ancient builders, we always start thinking the way we think. Wrong. Imagine that you have more developed intelligent beings who communicate through telepathy, who design through telepathy. They don't need drawings. Telepathy is much more advanced. Just an idea. The next spiritual sense, telekinesis. We have ability to move objects with the power of our mind. The power of intention. Original people of American or Australian land, original. Of course, the Englishmen called one American Indians and the other one they called Aborigines. Aborigines. I'm saying they are original. Englishmen, they are saying aboriginal, non-original. Why? So they can grab their land. But anyway, Aborigines and American Indians, no rain for 2 months. In America, they get together, they dance and invite the rain, and the rain starts coming. In Australia, mantras for the rain, and the rain is coming. The power of intention We have the ability, we don't use it. And finally, teleportation. Movement through space and time. There are different ways to achieve that. Physical movement through the time machines. Then, another one is controlled journey of our soul, right here. Then, astral projections. We have our astral twin. We have our physical body. We have the same shaped spiritual body, which is called astral. People who had a clinical death, for example, they're in a hospital, at a surgery, for 5 minutes, it was complex surgery, for 5 minutes, their heart stopped beating. The moment our heart stopped beating, from our body, the soul is getting out. So now our soul is close to the ceiling, looking down. Seeing the lifeless body, seeing doctors, and hearing the nurses. They talk, the operation is going on. So now let's go to that soul. I'm looking down. So if my body is there and I'm here, who am I? Am I a physical body or am I a soul? Well, wait a minute. I can think. So my soul has an intelligence. I can see. I can hear. So my soul has senses. Let me see if I can move. Let me go to the next room. Boom, you go through the walls. The next room, there is another surgery. Let me go out. Boom, next moment you're at the parking lot. Okay, let me move through time. Let me go back a couple of thousand years. Boom, you are in Alexandria, ancient Egypt. Let me see if Cleopatra was the most beautiful woman ever. You go to her quarters. Well, you can say that she had the most advanced makeup ever. And then you realize you move through space and time. You have no limits. And that's exactly the definition of freedom. No limits. So now we become free. Moving more, you realize, hey, I don't get old as a soul. I move through different life experiences. Before this one, and I am on that surgical table, I had another one, and many other ones. After this one, of course, I'm going to have many other ones. Well, if I live for billions of years, not 50 or 100, why should I fear anything? So you realize there is no need to fear in this life. No need to be afraid of anything. So while we are thinking about those nice stuff, the next moment, the surgeons are almost done with the surgery, they are sewing you back, and then you come back to your body. But now you remember everything. You remember that you are free and no fear. You go home, next Monday you go back to work, and your boss, as every Monday, he started yelling at you, because Mondays they are in bad mood. And usually before, when they yell at you, you obey, you listen, because if you say something on the contrary, they're going to fire you. If they fire you, you're going to lose ability to pay your loans, your mortgages. You're going to lose your house and your car. You won't be able to pay your kids' schools. So you listen, you obey, you fear. But this time is different. You know that you don't need to obey. You need to keep integrity of your life. And for the first time, you tell him, hey, do not yell at me. Now he's surprised. I'm going to... You won't do nothing. As a matter of fact, I'm going to quit the job right now. You have not been respecting me. And you leave. And you find another job. Maybe not immediately. Maybe you lose that big house, you find smaller ones. But then you're going to find something where they're going to respect you. Or you're going to start your own business. No fear. Now imagine 50 of us without the fear. And 50,000 and 5 billion. And then we change the world. And those monsters who elegantly call themselves elites realize they don't have sheep no more to follow them. And everything changes. The politicians become what they are supposed to be. They start serving us, normal people. So, spirituality is something so deep and important. And guess what? Pyramid energies develop and affect our spiritual senses. So now when we think about the discovery of the Bosnian Pyramids, it is not about archaeology and those concrete blocks. This is how we started. We've expanded to energy and spirituality and healing. And like that was not enough, I spent all my US savings purchasing this land here, about 100,000 square meters. At that time it was neglected, swampy, muddy land. Took us years till we drained the water, cleaned everything, garbage was everywhere. Planted thousands and thousands of plants and flowers and bushes. Building about 65 different installations, pavilions, busts. Transforming the neglected land to the most beautiful park. Without the government money. Showing that we don't need to rely on the government all the time. They have had their chance for the last 5,000 years. But they think only about themselves. And they treat us as someone who should be controlled and manipulated with. And this park has become the regional, cultural oasis, sport oasis, place with the festivals, book promotions, lectures, place where we talk about the water, the food, what we eat and drink and what we think. Place of freedom, place of spiritual peace. As you can see, there are no entrance fee. Park cost us a lot of money, before and now, to maintain, to build new stuff. But we don't charge anything. If similar park was in Slovenia, Germany or America, of course you would pay 20 euros or some other amounts. You could see some parking lots, the big one on the top, that we rent and pay the rent, and we spend a lot of money, make the parking lot for 350 cars. We don't charge parking fees. Some of you might stay here for our summer festival. We bring the regional superstars every year. We pay them 10,000 euros plus equipment, the sound, the lights, Securitas. Few singers, few nights, 25, 30, 40,000 euros. But we don't charge entrance fees to those young people and everybody else who comes here. We don't charge. Why we are doing that? You know, I want to bring a feeling of freedom back to the people. When we are young, they don't even ask us. After the first 24 hours, they give us first vaccine without our consent. In America, from day 1 until 18 years, 106 vaccines. 106. Some of them, like 6 of them together and stuff. They don't ask us. As we are growing, they are telling us, you can't do this, you can't do that. When we are over 18, the law forbids this. It's all the time we can't do. Here we are saying, yes, you can. Enjoy. No alcohol, don't bring violence, but enjoy. So we are bringing the feeling of freedom back. And imagine, not just one place in Bosnia, 10 similar places, 20 in Serbia, 50 in Germany, 100 in States. Then we, the people, we change the world. So, when we add all this, from archaeology and science and energy and spirituality and healing and culture and sport, what we're eating, what we do here, we create a new concept of the future. And then what do they offer us today? The new Western values, coming from people like Ursula von der Pfizer. Yeah. She spent 6 billion euros of your money, not mine, not Bosnia, your money, to buy 1.9 billion vaccines from her husband, director of Pfizer. And 1.8 billions they just trash. So what they are preaching to us, new Western values. They say future of humanity is a transhumanism. Upgraded human with a biochip under the skin. You know, that's very convenient. You pay your bills with your hand. You open the door. Yes. And they turn you on or they turn you off if they wish. They said future of humanity is GMO food, genetically modified. 4 years ago they started with GMO, saying we're going to solve the hunger in the world. It's much cheaper. Really? Well, it's been 40 years. Hunger is still around us. Every 3 seconds, 1, 2, 3, one child dies in the third world countries. Every 3 seconds, Niger, Mali, and Chad, and Nigeria, and South Sudan, and Ethiopia, and Somalia, and Yemen, and Bangladesh, every 3 seconds. If only 10% of American military budget was used, they would solve the hunger, if they wanted to. GMO is not about solving the hunger. It is about the control. It is about damaging our body, our DNA. GMO trash everywhere. America 99%, Western Europe 95%, Bosnia 50%. So we still have some organic food. They're saying the future is in digital money and digital banks. It's very convenient. You pay everything through your cards. Yes, until one moment. You try to pay the bill, and the bank said, no, you cannot do the transactions. Why? Well, we don't know. They keep your money that you earned, but you cannot use it. And I have money in my hand, 100 euros. I can go to the restaurant. I can buy flowers to my loved person, or even to my wife, or I can do whatever I want to do. That's called freedom. But if for every transaction you need to ask approval from the bank, we have a problem. They're saying the future is in pedophiles being legalized. So the elites can continue with their orgies in the future. And among them are many American presidents, many American corporation heads, many bankers, and so on. Well, here we are saying no. This is not our future. Our future is in the harmony among us, normal people, and harmony with the nature. Because we belong to this planet. She does not belong to us. Thank you very much.